I'd like to express my gratitude to the Czech presidency for this invitation, and to remind ourselves it was the Czech presidency of the European Union where the 10 common basic principles, including the one that Belinda mentioned, explicit but not exclusive targeting of Roma populations. And as Belinda said, I'm very heartened to hear that across the DGs in the Commission, they get it. And we're heartened to hear that, as Belinda said, words are important, but we now see from the European Commission deeds and gathering momentum and political will to continue what has been started. Let's hope the Member States get it, and let's hope they get it very soon. The 10 common principles are actually a manifesto for change, and this World Bank report underpins the principles with economic, evidence-based argument. Education, education, education. We continue to insist that closing the gap in education remains the key to the future. In 2001, when we first began funding school desegregation projects, the then President of Bulgaria, President Stoyanov, said that he hoped what was happening in Vidin would become commonplace, would become the norm all over Bulgaria. A decade later, we're still waiting for that. We have seen, in fact, increased segregation across Europe. Policymakers need to complicate their understanding when we talk about education. When we talk about the well-being and rights of children whose material disadvantage is compounded by discrimination, we need a more complicated understanding. I don't see evidence of this in the national action plans. And I am very happy that the Czech presidency has made this a priority. It must remain a priority between now and 2015. The report is entitled Opportunity for Europe. Let us not squander this opportunity. For Roma are not just units of production, and progress can be derailed by prejudice. Commissioner Reding warned us of the dangers of inflammatory anti-Roma rhetoric across Europe. What must it be like for Roma children and young people, alongside their non-Roma peers in mainstream schools, in university, in their first jobs, to hear their communities described by a senior government minister as incubators for crime? Our future units of production need to be accorded respect. Now, as well as proving that integration and inclusion is economically smart and ethically sound, this research shows that facts do not accord with common perceptions. This is very important, that Roma want to contribute and have the potential to do so. This research provides us with fact-based evidence that reinforces our shared consensus that integration, equality, and mutual respect is good not just for Roma, but for the whole of society, the quality of our democracies, for cohesion and future prosperity. We have the arguments, we have the evidence, but politics is about passion as much as reason. In a public sphere increasingly distorted by populist, radical, and racist voices, we need to win these arguments. We need to argue with passion and conviction for Roma integration and Roma emancipation. We need to convince national governments, local municipalities, and the wider population that this is the right thing to do, the smart thing to do. Our experience in Open Society Foundations, the Roma Education Fund, the World Bank, our experience has shown that change is possible. The level and poverty and desperation that has driven much of the migration that has become so topical shows that change is urgent. I sincerely hope that the insights contained in this report will be taken seriously by those elected to govern, who have a responsibility for the rights and well-being of all their citizens, regardless of their ethnicity. I'd like to thank the World Bank once again for this report, and our Czech hosts for the beginning of what is a very promising presidency. Thank you.